Hello, I'm Ryan Jenkins, and in this video, we're going to explore who are the generations and how are they named and formed. Did you know that 75% of managers report that managing multi-generational teams is a challenge? Additionally, 77% of workers identify different work expectations across generations as a challenge. And lastly, 72% of workers identify a lack of comfort with younger employees managing older employees. So no matter how you slice it, there are generational tensions at work. And for us to close or smooth out these generational tensions, we've got to become a little bit more aware of who are the generations, what are some of the contexts around generations so that we can have more awareness so that we can fully close that gap and we can effectively lead, work, communicate, sell more effectively across generations. But certainly if you have challenges working across generations, you are not alone. Here's a quick snapshot of the generations. The middle column is as of the age range as of 2020. And on the right side, that's the US peak population, just to give you a sense of how the generations have stacked up over the years. The two asterisks on the bottom right represents how large those generations used to be. Unfortunately, they're not that large anymore due to folks passing away. But again, gives you a good sense of how the generations stacked up over the years. Here's a snapshot of the generations in the workforce. As of 2020, these are the numbers. All of the millennials are now in the workforce, and the next generation poised to enter the workforce is Gen Z, and they're going to be coming in at a pace we haven't seen before. And so by 2025, actually 3 out of 4 workers around the globe will be of the emerging generations. And so your industry, work in general, is going to look and feel different as more and more of these digital natives begin stepping in decision-making roles. So again, this is why it's a relevant conversation to start understanding the generational dynamics so that we can effectively lead and work in the workplace of tomorrow. Let me give you a high overview of the generations and how they're named and how they come about, et cetera. Generations are formed by significant events or trends during the multiple years of an age cohort. Baby boomers are the only officially labeled generation by the US Census Bureau. So it's the first and likely the last time that a generation will be named by a government entity. With folks coming back from the war, there was a huge boom in births. And then because of the introduction of the birth control, it declined the birth rate. And so there was this distinct baby boom that occurred, and the US Census Bureau felt compelled to label that the baby boom generation. All the generations that have been named retroactively or since the baby boomers have been established by advertising agencies, by prominent generational authors, or even the generations themselves have had a hand in naming the generations. But baby boomers remains the only officially labeled generation. Age is a common predictor of differences in attitudes and behaviors. I think we can all agree on that. A 25-year-old has different values, attitudes, preferences, expectations than a 45-year-old or 65-year-old. And lastly, generational spans are typically 15 to 20 years, but are shrinking due to heightened exposure. So generational spans used to be defined by one step in your ancestry, but because the world is moving so fast, we're so connected, that generational spans are likely to start shrinking to 10, maybe even 5-year spans, just because of how fast things are moving and how everyone can experience global events in real time that can imprint generations at a very multiple age. So keep that in mind. And I think as we move forward, generational tensions and frictions are only going to intensify as more and more of these generations form and enter the workforce. So keep this in mind. Generations are clues. They're not absolutes. And in my opinion, I think, and I hope you agree with me, they're very big clues on how you lead, communicate, recruit, sell. The better understanding that you and I have of each generation, the better equipped we are to lead and work in today's multi-generational marketplace. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for your time and attention. If you'd like to learn more about live workshops, trainings, keynote presentations that I do, virtual or in person, simply email me at ryan@ryan-jenkins.com. And if you'd like more information about how this type of content can be delivered in a digital course format, simply visit sync-lx.com. We actually have a specific generations understanding course that's really relevant to help a lot of organizations. So visit that, explore more, and hopefully we can serve you in that area. Thanks so much. Have a great day.